I found out my brother emptied our father's accounts while I was sleeping on a metal bunk, halfway across the world, still wearing my uniform. Not slowly, not accidentally. Cleaned out, signed over, final. I remember staring at the email on my cracked phone, the one that said estate settled, and laughing out loud because my brain refused to accept it. The laugh came out sharp and wrong, like it didn't belong to me. I hadn't even been home for the funeral. Right after that hit me, I need to ask you something, quietly, human to human. Have you ever been blindsided by someone you thought was safe? Or underestimated because you weren't in the room when decisions were made? If you felt that kind of shock, I want you to sit with me through this. And if you feel like sharing, tell me where you're watching from. It helps more than you think. I didn't call him right away. That surprised even me. I'd always been the one who reacted fast, who spoke first. But something in me went still. I reread the email. Then I opened the attachment. My brother's signature was everywhere. Confident, loopy, familiar. It felt intimate in the worst way, like walking into your childhood bedroom and realizing someone else now owns your memories. What hurt wasn't just the money, it was how efficient he'd been. The way you get when you've planned something for a while. That was my first uncomfortable realization. This didn't happen while I was gone. It happened because I was gone. When I finally called home, my aunt answered. Not him. Her voice had that careful softness people use when they think you're fragile. She said my brother had stepped up. She said I should be grateful someone handled things while I was away playing hero. That phrase stuck. Playing hero. I was deployed, not on vacation, but suddenly that detail felt negotiable to them. By the end of the call, I understood something else. The story had already been told, and I wasn't the main character in it. I was the inconvenience, the absent sister, the one who didn't show up when it counted. Anger came late. First was humiliation. Group messages stopped lighting up my phone. Family friends I'd grown up calling aunties and uncles suddenly needed time. My brother posted a photo online of himself standing in front of our old house, keys in hand, captioned with something about responsibility. People praised him, leadership, strength. I stared at the comments, feeling like I was watching my own life get edited without my consent. Here's the funny part, funny in that dry, painful way. Everyone kept telling me to be patient. As if patience fixes theft. As if silence equals grace. I learned then how quickly patience is recommended when it costs the speaker nothing. I flew home months later, not with a plan, just with a quiet decision to see things clearly before I spoke. My brother hugged me like nothing had happened. Too tight, too long. He smelled like my father's old cologne, and for a second I almost folded. Almost. Then he started explaining how hard it had been, how alone he felt, how someone had to take control. He never once said my name while he talked. That's when suspicion settled in, calm and heavy. He wasn't just justifying what he did. He was rehearsed. And rehearsals mean there's more coming. I asked him where the documents were. He waved his hand like it was boring paperwork, said everything was handled. That word again, handled. As if my father's life was a loose end. I noticed then how comfortable he'd become speaking for everyone. Decisions sounded natural in his mouth. Authority does that. It settles in quick when no one challenges it. That night I stayed in my childhood room. Someone had repainted it. Beige. Safe. Forgettable. I lay awake realizing this wasn't just about inheritance. It was about presence. About who gets believed when one person stays and another leaves. Absence doesn't just make the heart grow fonder. Sometimes it makes people bold. I started asking questions the next morning. Not accusations. Questions. Simple ones. Dates. Signatures. Why certain accounts moved faster than others. My brother's patience thinned in real time. He told me I was being dramatic, emotional. That word landed exactly where he wanted it to, right on my credibility. But hear what people forget. Emotion doesn't cancel intelligence. It sharpens it. I noticed small cracks. A document notarized on a day he claimed he was out of town. A witness who suddenly couldn't remember details. Nothing explosive. Just enough to make me stop doubting myself. The family dinner was where it turned ugly. Someone joked that I should have stayed home if I wanted a say. Laughter followed. Not cruel, worse. Casual. That's when I understood the real betrayal wasn't financial. It was social. He framed himself as the reliable one, and me as the risky variable. I excused myself to the bathroom and laughed again, that same sharp laugh from the bunk overseas. It hit me then how power works in families. It doesn't announce itself. It waits until the room agrees with it. I didn't confront him after that. I pulled back, watched, read. I requested copies of everything, calmly, politely. When he delayed, I thanked him for his time. That drove him crazy. Silence can feel like disrespect to people who expect obedience. Weeks passed, then months. That's the part no one glamorizes, waiting without collapsing, holding self-respect without an audience. I learned that revenge is loud, but consequences prefer quiet. The letter came from a lawyer I hadn't contacted yet. Apparently my brother had. He wanted a clean resolution. That phrase again, clean. He was nervous now. Rushing is always a tell. He offered me a settlement, small, generous-sounding, and final. I folded the letter and smiled. Not because I'd won. Because for the first time since that email overseas, I knew exactly where I stood. And more importantly, where he didn't. I declined the settlement without countering. That confused everyone. Even my lawyer raised an eyebrow. People expect anger to negotiate. They expect desperation to beg. What they don't expect is someone who's finally stopped needing validation from the same circle that benefited from their silence. That's when the tone shifted. Family members who hadn't called in a year suddenly checked in, just to see how you're doing. Translation is a life skill. What they really meant was, is this going to get messy? Awareness has a sound. It's subtle, but once you hear it, you can't unhear it. The truth surfaced slowly, the way it always does. A clerk remembered something off. A signature didn't match a previous version. Nothing dramatic, no courtroom speech. Just a quiet accumulation of facts that no amount of charm could smooth over. My brother stopped posting online, stopped hosting dinners. Power, it turns out, hates light more than it hates opposition. When he finally called me, voice smaller, careful, I felt something surprising. Not victory. Relief. The kind that comes when reality catches up and you don't have to chase it anymore. We met once more, just us. He apologized in a way that protected his ego. He said he felt pressured, overwhelmed, like he had no choice. I listened without correcting him. People confess in the language they can live with. I told him I wasn't interested in punishing him, just in reclaiming what was taken. That moment changed our relationship forever. Not because of forgiveness or rage, but because I saw him clearly. And clarity has a way of rearranging love into something more honest. The final documents came through quietly. No announcements. No family gathering. Just emails and signatures and a balance restored. Some people never acknowledged what happened. Others pretended they'd always known. I let them. Peace isn't earned by correcting everyone. Sometimes it's earned by choosing which truths deserve your breath. If you're listening to this and something feels familiar, I'm curious. What part of the story stayed with you? Was it the waiting? The silence? The moment you realized being right and being respected aren't always the same thing? If you feel like sharing, I'm reading. I didn't lose a brother that year. I lost an illusion. And I gained something sturdier in its place, self-trust. That quiet confidence that doesn't need to perform to be real. If you stayed with me until the end, thank you. Truly, stories like this only work because someone chooses to listen. This is King's Revenge Vault, and I appreciate you being here more than you know.